Good morning. Good morning to everybody out in YouTube land, wherever you are, all over the world.
Literally.
I know, that's just, huh?
Introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised, I guess there's a lot of people here that don't know who I am. I forget who I am sometimes too, but I'm Pastor Phil, so if you ever hear somebody says, oh, it's for Phil, you don't have to go, who's that? So, anyhow, all kinds of stuff going on as usual, and last week I announced this, but Mikey's here today, so I get to say it again. So, good job, Mikey! Thank you. Mike is a scientist out at PNNL and has had lots of things published and got awards and done great stuff, and everybody thinks that he's wonderful, just like you do. Eggs are available in the back, homegrown, home-laid. Home-laid? Yeah. Wow. Well, they are. They are, well.
The children of the audience.
But premium eggs. I mean, they're fed the best of food, best of care, so they're about as good as you can get. So, and bring some cartons if you can think about it. You know, bring the cartons back if you can, and bring more.
Is there a charge on the eggs?
You know, there are. $3. $3. They're good. Big, huge. Yeah, and they're one good eggs. We do have a couple patron saints by the name of John Lennon and George Carlin.
Hey, George and John.
And John said, I believe in God, but not as one thing, not as some old man in the sky. I believe that what people call God is something in all of us. I believe that what Jesus and Muhammad and Buddha and all the rest said was right. It's just the translations have gone wrong.
Yes.
Hey, John. And George, equally as introspective, meow means woof in cat. To fill the bill. Ever wonder where that phrase came from? Oh, I tell you.
Okay.
Prior to the Civil War, many theatrical companies were continually on tour. Advertising for shows was done largely through the medium of posters or bills. These were tacked up in a town several weeks before the first performance of a particular show. The bills were frequently made extravagant claims. It took a proficient group of players to live up to the promises of the posters or to fill the bill. Comparisons between actors and their bills were so frequent that the theatrical term became a part of everyday speech. Now you know. Things that make you go, like that book fell. What would happen? Truth is a torch that gleams through the fog without dispelling it. We find it easy to believe that praise is sincere. Why should anyone lie in telling us the truth? A man's most valuable trait is a judicious sense of what not to believe. That was Euripides in 485 BC. And it's amazing that these seem to be a little bit poignant today. This is a public service announcement, PSA. If you get somebody that comes to your door, you see them in the street, and they say they're from Exceed, run. They came to our door, and I'm a little bit too trusting. So it sounded like a good idea to me. Get free coupons, and all you got to do is go ahead and use their brokers when you sell your house. Not if, but when. It's like, oh, okay, I saw the list, and I go, yeah, I probably could use somebody from Windermere. So after I signed everything, I went and decided that I was going to go ahead and check with the two Windermere offices, since I know the brokers real well, and neither one of them had heard of these people. So I get an email, and I decided at that point, I need to read this contract. OMG. Let's just say that if you don't use their brokers, you get to pay them 1.2% of your home. And, oh, by the way, if you pass before you actually sell your home, that contract goes to your heirs.
Oh.
So, just tell them no, call the police, but just definitely tell them no. And everybody out on YouTube, I have no problem telling these people that they should stop what they're doing or be entirely truthful about what they're doing. The website apparently is a little bit better. You can actually see the contract there, but the person going door to door probably doesn't know what's really in the contract. So anyway, There's my PSA for the day. I went around to every house in our neighborhood. I was the only one that did it. I was going to warn everybody. So, oh well.
They're in Richland too.
That's okay. Are they?
They're in Richland too.
Okay, I figured they should be. Just everybody be aware. Just walk on by. Unless you want to use their broker, I guess, but I have no idea if that's going to work or not. A bean supper. Oh, this is more church ladies with typewriters. These are old. We've done them before, but they're great anyway. A bean supper will be held on Tuesday evening in the church hall. Music will follow. At the evening service tonight, the sermon topic will be, what is hell? Come early and listen to the choir practice. 8 new choir robes are currently needed due to the addition of several new members and to the deterioration of some older ones. Please place your donation in the envelope along with the deceased person you want to be remembered. Big envelopes. Big envelopes. And it is said that if you line up all the cars in the world end to end, someone from California would be stupid enough to try to pass them. Yep. You can fit in anybody from any state, you know. It's not against Californians because we have a lot of viewers in California. If the shoe fits, get another one just like it. The things that come to those who wait may be the things left by those who got there first.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe. Ooh, there's the book I just dropped. Let me see what's in there. Oh, and by the way, since this is the first weekend of the unofficial start of summer, shorts. Sorry about the blinding color. Well, what can I say? The Snickers bar, introduced in 1930 by the M&M Mars Company, is named after the Mars' favorite horse, Snickers. So now every time you eat a Snickers bar, you're going to, oh well.
Good diet tool.
Oh, a good diet tool. Good idea, yeah. Anything else going on? You want to do something? Okay, good. Good, I get to have a sip of coffee.
Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah.
Go ahead and turn on.
Good morning, everyone. I have had such a fantastic response for the aura photo sessions I'm doing that the 30th is full. I even crammed one more in. And so I've opened up June 13th for another full day of sessions. Depending on the response I get from today's sign up, I'm going to pass around. I will probably end up opening up another day. So I can only do about 14 or 15 a day.
Show my picture. Pass my picture around if you want to.
Right here.
Yeah, I know. I have got 2 here actually. I've got one that I did, and this is going to be the exact one. It'll be, this is like a sample of what you'll get for your session. This is what I'll print out. So I'll send this around on the clipboard. And then on Friday, Janice and Phil came and we did some practicing. And so this is Janice's, and I can, you want me to send it around on the
Yes.
clipboard as well?
Yes.
So you can see the differences on it, when I send it around. It's an amazing tool. The short version gives you a lot of information. The long version is about an hour. I can give you a 24 report. And this report will tell you things about your health, things about your energy, your spiritual, your mind, body, spirit, the whole shooting match comes on this report. It is a huge beneficial tool that can show you what is going on with your body and how, I can make some recommendations as to what you can do to fix things. It tells you where your chakras are at, and you'd be really surprised what this reveals. I always thought my chakras were pretty imbalanced being a Reiki master, but no. The old body goes and tells you what's not in sync. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and send that around. And then one more thing. It's that time again to fill the communion calendar up. This is very helpful for the church. It's putting together the communion every Sunday, and so that not one person has to be responsible for doing it. And it's your way of being able to kind of, volunteer and help out. So if you would like to help us out, just on the Sundays, put your name and telephone number. Let's see if we can fill in June. Remember to pass it back up to the front too.
Thank you.
Love your shoes, Lynn.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go through the May calendar and give you a couple sneak peeks of June that I know about. As next Sunday, we're going to have Josie talk to us about inner guidance. On Wednesday, we have interchange with Sandra and William. And do you want to talk a little bit about what interchange is for our new people?
Interchange is exactly that, changing from within. We're using some material of Byron Katie from her book, Loving What Is. Also, so we are looking at and using Eckhart Tolle in Living in the Now, The Power of Now. Also, for those of you who are familiar with Dr. Michael Rice, who has been here, we also use that material too about why is this happening to me again? So that you get an overview of the same information that, what do you think is driving your bus? You're not going where you want to go? You need to change where you're thinking. And that's what the interchange is about. And we do that here at 7 o'clock on Wednesday evenings. Look forward to coming.
It's a really powerful class. If you haven't been, I would highly recommend that you come and try us out. See what it's about for yourself. There's going to be a Dream Quest informational meeting at 6:30 on the 28th. And for those of you that don't know what Dream Quest is, you're going to learn how to see auras. You'll meet your spirit guides and animal spirit guides. You'll learn how to live more effectively as an empath. You'll have more clarity with your destiny. You'll learn the spiritual significance of your name. You'll learn to effectively protect yourself energetically. You'll acquire tools for manifesting what your heart desires. You'll learn to read crystals. You'll learn healing techniques that heal on all 4 levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. You'll make your own shaman stones and learn to read them. And if you're interested in all of this, then Dream Quest is definitely for you. It taught me a lot. I said last week I met myself in this class. And if you are a graduate already, you're invited to attend to answer questions and share your own positive experience with Dream Quest. And Janice, what is the cost on Dream Quest?
It's $325 for the whole series.
And there's 5 lessons a month, or 5 total?
I'm thinking of shortening it up to 3 because it's summer. But
Okay.
we'll talk about that Thursday. We'll see
Okay.
what will work for Thursday.
Okay, but it's once a month. Maybe.
Yeah, of course, we'll talk about that on Thursday.
Also, what I know about, we've got the aura picture readings on the 30th.
And they're going to be here at the church if anybody didn't get that part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that will depend. I do have openings on the 13th.
Okay, and like she said, June 13th also. On June 6th, Janice is going to be teaching a pendulum class. That's $35, and it's going to be really, really powerful. Most of us have more than one pendulum because we're addicted to them. And Chris and Terry are making some beautiful pendulums. So hopefully she'll come and bring some of them with her, and they'll be available for sale. And I know that Gia has some too, and hopefully she'll bring some for the pendulum class. I also know that on, is it June 7th, we're going to have a book sale. We're asking people to bring in books that they've read and wish to pass on. The funds will go for the church, is that correct? I've already brought in 5 boxes, and I anticipate at least 5 more.
Somebody's an avid reader.
Somebody's an avid reader, and someone bites off more than they can chew. And then on June 20th, we're going to have a make and take your own essential oil rollerball class. And that will be $20 a person. There will be more on the calendar on the website about what this class entails. If you bring a friend, you get a gift. So that's what I know about all of that right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. You know, this just kind of clarifies a little bit about the church. I mean, it's interesting, you know, when Jan and I started almost 18 years ago, all we knew for sure is that we knew that what we knew of Christianity, and I'm a recovering Catholic, and Jan's been raised very, very strict, and we knew that and everything that was just talked about, they fit together. I mean, they really, really do. So, together with all of that, can have a wonderful life. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive or anything. So, I mean, we are followers of the way, certainly. You don't have to be, but Jan and I are. So, anyway, we have fun with that. One last, and we'll get moving here. As a bagpiper, and I did this one a long time ago, but it's still funny. As a bagpiper, I play many gigs. Recently, I was asked by a funeral director to play at a graveside service for a homeless man. He had no family or friends, so the services were to be at a pauper's cemetery in Nova Scotia, backcountry. As I was not familiar with the backwoods, I got lost, and being a typical man, I didn't stop to ask for directions. Finally arrived an hour late, saw the funeral guy had evidently gone, and the hearse was nowhere in sight. There was only the diggers and crew left, and they were eating lunch. I felt badly and apologized to the men for being late. Went to the side of the grave, looked down, and the vault lid was already in place. I didn't know what else to do, so I started to play. The workers put down their lunches and began to gather around. I played out my heart and soul for this man with no family and friends. I played like I'd never played before for this homeless man. And as I played Amazing Grace, the workers began to weep. They wept, I wept, we all wept together. When I finished, I packed up my bagpipes, started for my car. Though my head was hung low, my heart was full. As I opened the door to my car, I heard one of the workers say, "I never seen nothing like that before, and I've been putting in septic tanks for 20 years." Let's sing a song. We are fortunate, again, to have someone that we truly love talk to us today. Some of you have heard him before. Some of you have not. I think half the reason he comes here is just to find out what I'm going to say about him. Surprise! Take it out.
Thank you, Phil, I think. Never can tell with Phil, you know? Good morning and namaste. It's really beautiful. Yesterday, got my oldest daughter and all of her kids are over here this weekend, and we all met at one of my other daughter's houses, and everybody got together and we played a game of baseball. I haven't played baseball in I don't know how many years. I could still run around the bases, and yes, I can hit the ball. And my team, we slaughtered them. It was good. It was good fun. I really enjoyed it, and it's just, family is one of my top 3 values, so it was an excellent, excellent day. I'm feeling really, really good. I don't think I have cancer, but you know, they say I do. I don't know what the heck. But because it is this time of year, something hit me really funny because I like this hat. And how many of you remember the story of Huckleberry Finn?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How many of you read it? All right. And of course, the author, Mark Twain, he was quite a character, a very colorful character. I'm going to read to you a section from Huckleberry Finn this morning, and this is taken from Huck writing a letter because his conscience finally caught up with him about the social norms of the time. So he was writing a letter to Jim, the slave that was with him going down the river, to his owner. All right? So that's where this is starting from, just to give you that. Am I not speaking loud enough?
No.
Okay, I'll put this up a little higher. How's that?
And, oh, by the way, if anyone, I don't announce this enough, if anyone does have a hard time hearing, we do have hearing impaired, so, amplifiers, so if you need something.
Okay. Now, I've got on my floating down the Mississippi hat. I thought I'd had that in there. All right, here we go. This is Mark Twain, and this is Huckleberry Finn. I felt good and all washed clean of sin for the first time I had ever felt so in my life. And I know I can pray now. But I didn't do it straight off. But I laid the paper down and I was sitting there thinking of how good it was, this happening so. And how near I came to being lost and going to hell. Remember, he's writing about his conscience and his social norms. And I went on thinking, and I got to thinking over our trip down the river, and I see Jim before me all the time, in the day and in the nighttime, sometimes moonlight, sometimes storms, and we're floating along, talking and singing and laughing, and somehow I couldn't seem to strike no place to harden me against him, but only the other kind. I see him standing my watch on top of his'n, instead of calling me so that I could go on sleeping, and I see how glad he was when I come back out of the fog. And when I come to him again in the swamp, up there where the feud was, and such how happy he was, in such like times, and would always call me honey and pat me, and do everything he could think for me, and how good he always was. And I was struck at times that I saved him by telling the men we had smallpox aboard. And he was so grateful and said I was his best friend old Jim ever had in the world and the only one he's got now. And then I happened to look around and I see that paper. It's the paper he was writing. It was a close place. I took it up. I held it in my hand. I was trembling because I got to decide forever between two things. And I known it. I studied it a minute, sort of holding my breath. Then I said to myself, oh hell then, I'll go to hell. And I tore it. So, what happened there? What was being expressed there in the story of Huckleberry Finn? Something really, really huge. And something I think we all experience in our lives. And that's when we are faced with a decision against social norms or what we feel is right in our heart. How many of you have been at that crossroad? Oh yeah. Yeah. We've all been at that crossroad. And it's a really interesting place to stand in your life when you hit that crossroad. Because when you hit that crossroad, you know you've got to make a decision. And that decision is going to impact a lot of things in your life and the people around you there in your life. Especially the people around you. If I use myself as an example, okay, I have cancer. I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. But how I deal with it impacts my family. If I dealt with it in a strange manner, if I was really freaked out about it or having trouble or struggling with it, it's going to impact every person that is dear and close to me. And that includes all of you, as well as my family. I consider you part of my family, really. My circle of friends. That's my okay. So it's really important when you hit that crossroad to stop. In the little piece here in Huckleberry Finn, he stopped and meditated on what he had written. So he thought about it. He took the time to really think about what he was doing. And how many times do we not take the time to think about what we're doing or what we're going to do? We just do it. We get in that real rush kind of thing. A lot of times when I come here in the morning, instead of taking the freeway, I come through the park. Because I like to look at the river and it just kind of mellows me out. And I take the park a lot. I used to ride a motorcycle, so I'm used to taking back roads and staying off the main things. It's just easier that way. And those of you who ride motorcycles know that people just don't seem to see you. I don't know why, but they don't. So I'm kind of used to doing that, but I found that it's very relaxing. I'm never in a rush to get anywhere. And if I'm running a little late, okay, I'm running a little late. I'm not going to step it up. I had my 2 grandkids in the car yesterday because they stayed at our house overnight, and then we went to my daughter's house in the morning. And one's still in a car seat because he's kind of short, little Christopher. He's not tall yet. He keeps saying, I'm never going to get tall. I said, oh, yes, you will. Just wait. Your cousin's a little taller than you, but you'll get there. But he likes sitting in the truck because he's right in the front and can really see. So he likes that. And we were talking about my stick shift because I don't drive an automatic. I like a standard shift. I'm kind of old-fashioned that way. It just feels good. So I was explaining how that works. And as we were talking about that, a car came, pulled in front of us, and started really tailgating the car that was in a little ways in front of us, because I like to leave a little bit of distance. And I was explaining to the kids, I said, you know, it's important to leave just that little bit of distance, so if you have to hit the brakes, you got some room to stop. And lo and behold, what happened? They hit the brakes and I had to hit mine and stop. So a perfect example, Spirit's always right there, just helping you along to do that. So I got that message across to them and they really kind of understood it, which I thought was a very important message. But that was a crossroad. That was a crossroad. Small one, but a crossroad. Any lesson that we're going to get in life, you'll get it in a crossroad. It happens that way. You're always going to have a choice. I could say you have 3 choices. You can go left, you can go right, you can do nothing. A lot of times, sometimes we get so caught up, especially if it's something emotionally that we're committed to or have an emotional attachment to, we find it hard to make a choice. Sometimes that just makes us stay still and we don't move left, right, or anything. We just stay where we are. We sit right in the middle of that crossroad. Well, sooner or later, a semi's going to come along. Boom! And you get shook off of wherever you're at, and all of a sudden you're in a different place than you want to be because you couldn't make your decision. Make your decision, but make it with your heart and your mind. Don't do it with just your mind. Use both. I always like to say the hardest race you have to run in your life is about this long. It's connecting your mind to your heart. If you can make all your decisions with those 2 together, hand in hand, you'll be fine. You'll always make the right decision. Your heart will never lead you astray. And you know it. You have made decisions, and after you've made it, you went, that doesn't feel right. Well, who's telling you that? The heart, I think. I think that's what it is. We know that feeling. We've all had it. It's not like we don't know. We do know. But the question is, when we know, do we act? Do we want to make the right decisions? Or do we cave into social norms? And I'm not going to stand here and say, I've never caved into social norms. I have. I don't know anybody that really hasn't. Social norms are really hard to deal with sometimes. I've caved into them, especially when I was younger. Oh my gosh, I could tell you stories. I'm not gonna. You don't want to hear those stories. I could tell you, no, we're not gonna go there. But I have, and I've always looked back on those things as lessons. And I got something out of them, and I grew from them. I wasn't happy with some of the decisions that I made in life, but I've always learned from them. So the other side, the flip side of the coin of what I'm talking about this morning, if you do find yourself so emotionally involved in something that you can't move and you're stuck, it's okay. You know, something's going to come along and move you. It might be a semi-truck. It could be a spider. You know? I hear that all the time. Dad, come here! I go, what? It's a spider! Okay. Poor little thing, you know? Probably scared it to death when she screamed. I have no idea. Spiders don't talk to me. I always let them loose in the yard, though. But something will move you from that spot. Something will move you. Either you will move yourself or an outside influence, and it's definitely some type of message from Spirit will come along and make you move, make you make a decision, be it right, wrong, indifferent, or otherwise. Whatever the decision is that you do make, you will learn. You will learn from it. It's experience. That's how we get wisdom, from the experiences we have. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. Okay, I did that once. Don't put your tongue on the frozen hole. Okay, I haven't done that one.
Metal ice cream.
You know, there are just things along those lines that we learn as we go. But really, my real message this morning is, listen to your heart. Don't let social norms dictate your actions. Social norms aren't always the best for us as individuals. Social norms are set up for the whole of everything, regardless of where people are in their consciousness or in their awareness. It's a blanket, if you will. And it serves a good purpose. I'm not really putting it down. It does serve its purpose. But if it doesn't serve purpose for you, don't cave into it. Go with your heart. Make the decision that you think is best for you to make, regardless of what anybody else says. I'm going to give you a real example when that really struck home for me in my own life. I was in a Rosicrucian order. There were probably about 45, 50 people in that order. We had, in Mount Vernon, we had bought actually an old hospital. It was 3 floors, if you will. And that's where we lived. It was an enclosed community. And I learned a lot of wonderful, beautiful, spiritual and things there. I was one of the high priests of the order, so when we did rituals, I generally was always involved in one way or another. I think that's why I became part of the reason why I became a Catholic priest, because I love ritual. Ritual just really sings to my blood. As some of the members in the order were going through ordinations and going through the levels of becoming a priest, I had already become a priest. And one of the reasons for doing that was, when we use the word occult, we were looking, I was anyway, looking for the highest white light, a white magic ritual that I could possibly do. And as I studied and studied and studied, I realized and came across the fact that the highest white magic ritual that could be done was the Mass. Okay? It was the Mass. And I always had wondered why Aleister Crowley and some of the leaders of the Golden Dawn and some of the other organizations that were happening in the early 19th centuries, why some of their leaders all became Catholic priests. Boom, click, that's what it was. They wanted to do that right, that ritual. And I found it actually in Seattle at the Quest bookstore. I was looking for books from W. Butler, William Butler, I think his name was. He was a little Catholic priest, and he wrote 2 books on ritual. So I was looking for his information. That's how I found the church. Anyway, to get this story to what my point is, several members of the Rosicrucian Order had joined the Liberal Catholic Church and was going through orders. The person who had put all of this together was an extremely intelligent young man. He was a chiropractor and he really, really knew what was going on in that realm. And he wanted to become a bishop. The Liberal Catholic Church wasn't going to let him become a bishop. So he went around and he found another Catholic church that was kind of an offshoot, if you will, and they consented to him wanting to become a bishop. So we had a big meeting. The whole order came together. We were in a church that I used to celebrate in all the time. It was called Lady of Guadalupe in Clear Lake in Washington. We had this big meeting, and the discussion was, do we leave the Liberal Catholic Church and go to this other church? And of course, the leader of our organization said he was going because he wanted to become a bishop. And every single person in that room voted to go, except one. That was me. I stood up and said, I took an oath to become a Liberal Catholic priest. That meant something to me. And I said, I am not going back on that. That was my crossroad. After that day, we kind of parted company. The order actually kind of fell apart, if you will. Most of the gentlemen that I knew at that time that were priests are no longer doing anything spiritually at all. It's like it all went to ashes. That was my crossroad. That was one of my heaviest crossroads. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. So you're going to hit those crossroads. You're going to hit some really heavy ones. Follow your heart. It will not lead you astray. Because I said no that day is more than half the reason why I'm standing in front of you talking today. I wouldn't be doing this if I had gone the other way. So let me close with a poem that I wrote, because I write poetry. And I think this one's fitting. And then later today, I'm going to a birthday party. My youngest granddaughter turned 1 today. This is called The Voice. I wrote this last year in June, actually. I heard a voice, but soft, so soft but sad, crying about the life they had. In my heart, there was only one choice. I could not stand by and not give it voice. I'm saddened by what my eyes do see, a light slowly fading, but dying to be. It's not about I, it was always we. Somehow we lost it, and all about me. Wake up, before it's too late. Hand in hand, a better world we can make. All children are born innocent, not knowing hate. Just one generation is all it would take. Just one generation to turn things around, to never put anyone down. For whom they are, white, black, or brown, a world full of peace and wonderful sounds. We can do this, yes, you and me. Let our voices be heard. That is the key. The time to wake up and be. For the spirit in us yearns to be free. The light that was fading now grows ever bright. And we know in our hearts that we've got it right. Never again will we fall so far from the light, and the children will sleep again peaceful at night. We shape tomorrow with our actions today. I'll leave it at that, as I say. Namaste.
Christopher was talking about Mass, communion. This is our opportunity to physically connect spiritually with one another and with divine source, whatever that is for you. We have unleavened bread if you like the tradition of that. Rice cakes if you're wheat tolerant. And animal crackers if you'd like to honor a Native American pathway. Whatever works for you, works for us. So would you join us in prayer, please? Loving Spirit of light, as we take this in, help us to feel spiritually nourished and help us to know how much we're loved. Help us to know also that you walk with us in all of our decisions. We ask that you bring us enlightenment and joy on the journey. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. Would you join us in prayer again, please? Loving Spirit of light, as we drink this in, help us to drink in life, all of it, and help us to move forward in joy and love and with compassion. These things we pray in the name of Jesus.
Amen.